And they've got it to him. Here's Hutt, hands it up to Bonner, 10 to shoot, 9, 8 remaining in regulation. Bonner jumps. Ah, he hits the shot. 3 points. Oh, he goes out of bounds. It's Rollins.
My name is Jakobi Bonner. I am 23 years old. I'm 6'2", and I play combo guard, a mix of shooting guard and point guard sometimes. Basketball is a beautiful combination of just an art form, the skill, the competitiveness, the physicality, the swagger that goes along with it. And I think a lot of people are attracted to that no matter who you are or where you're from. There's just so many ways to get engaged in the game. First got into basketball, couldn't really remember, to be honest with you. My dad was a Division I player, as well as my brother, and a lot of people in my family played basketball, so I got into it just based off, the family name. Significance behind wearing 21 is, I think it was my first number when I started sports, so I kind of just stuck with it and just kind of became part of the brand. I played back home for a school called Rollins College, Division II school that competed in the Sunshine State Conference. Conclusion of my senior year, stuck in a position where I was in the middle of doing my master's in business administration, as well as still had a desire to want to play professionally. Talking to some of my friends, the opportunity came up to where I can come over here. I ended up accepting a sports scholarship to complete my master's degree and to play basketball over here for Durham University. So it seemed like a no-brainer for me to come over here and immerse myself, in a whole different culture and different way of living. The Bucks League got canceled, unfortunately, so while I was looking for some teams, and TVC was a pretty good transition with the prior connection to one of the coaches here, and so I ended up coming right down here to London. There's a couple of things I struggled with moving overseas. For one thing, it was a hard transition moving from college to, coming straight out and moving, out of my parents' house and coming here. Mental health was a huge battle I deal with in the past year. Just like self-doubt and just finding purpose every day and waking up and dealing with, mild depression, I think was one of the things too I struggle with. So I think when you go overseas, it's not easy. I'd say like the difference between like passion and desire and taking that next step to become a professional is it just comes down to will and to habits. I mean, a lot of people are passionate and love to do a lot of things, but to want to be like a professional and to get to that highest level of play just has to be just a burning, obsessive desire to want to get better at what you do every day. It has to be like that thing in the morning that gets you up out of bed to want to improve, and I think just that constant drive to want to get better. I think if you have that, then the road to being professional becomes possible. Even then, there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be pitfalls, there's going to be peaks and valleys all across the way. But I think that will and that drive to want to get up, when you get better, when you have a good day, that invigorating feeling is what drives you to be a professional versus just having talent and being passionate about it. I'd say my biggest inspirations, probably 3, I think, in my life. My dad, my brother Jelani, and then Kobe Bryant. And I say that just because when I think about the stuff that I do, the way I approach things in life, the way I think, it goes back to those 3 and how they did stuff. And so I'd have to, give like a lot of credit to any success that I've ever had, the success I'm going to have, and the way I approach just games and life and battles that I currently face, due to just inspiration and motivation from the kind of past of those individuals. So the biggest setback in my career, realistically this past year, I was expected to be competing the 2020-21 season. I was expected to be competing in the Premier Bucks League and just have another year just to enjoy the game and improve my game, but that got canceled. So, for a whole year, I had technically a year off of basketball. And so that, created a lot of doubt for a lot of people that are supposed to be working with me, surrounding me. And so that was one of the setbacks I kind of had to deal with and keep working through in terms of creating opportunities for myself to continue playing the game that I love. The UK is behind a lot of other places, one of them being the US in terms of basketball. For one thing, I think just how things are structured in terms of the government and how people are involved and who has power here and who says what. But I think the other thing too is just like the basic lack of infrastructure. I think a lot of kids from when they're young, even though they have interests, they can't really engage in it as much because there's not as many opportunities. If you want to go to a gym, you're competing with badminton, you're competing with netball, you're competing with futsal or whatever. Like it's harder for kids to get involved here. And so I don't think it's priority, I think, for whoever calls the shots here. And so with that being said, they've continued to lag behind certain countries like the United States, among other countries in terms of development, even though there's a vast amount of talent here. At the end of my basketball career, while I'm looking to become the best basketball player I can be and constantly looking to just prove myself right with how I commit to my work every day, I just want to do my best to be able to impact others along the way, whether that be teammates, the individuals that I coach, anybody. I just want to be able to touch and impact people and just how I carry myself. And so I think if I can look back at my basketball career for however long it is, in terms of physically playing, and say, man, I gave it my all, and these people really took something with how I approached the game and how I approached my career, then I'd say it was a successful career. So my advice to the future generations that want to make a career out of basketball is just focus on your own path and your own development and growth. I think in the world we live in, and it obviously was increasing a lot during my time coming up, it's just we're all connected through social media, through the internet, through everything. And we're always focused on what everybody else is doing and not a lot of times focused on what we're doing. So I think you just got to be focused on your own habits and committing your habits to being the best basketball player that you can be and developing that drive, knowing that there's going to be good days and bad days, and so having that purpose to want to wake up and improve on a daily basis. And I think that if you can focus on that, no matter what generation you're in, whether you're in the 20s, the 40s, or 1,000 years from now, you can focus on your own development and create the right habits to have that purpose and drive to get up and improve on anything you want to do in life. I think you're going to be okay.